It is estimated that by 2030, the number of people affected by cancer in developing countries like Zambia will increase by more than 90%. Population growth and aging will account much for the increase, although 1/50 of the new cancer cases will be due to preventable factors. Many cancers have a high chance of cure if detected early and treated adequately, like was the case for Catherine Machia.
This is Catherine Machia, a mother of two. Her story is one of triumph against a disease that is devastating many across the globe. Catherine is a living survivor of cancer. It all started 2 years ago.
Death. All I knew about cancer is that when you get cancer, it's death. You won't live. I didn't even know that they go through this, they have to go through treatment, how for people to get to that point where you die, I had no idea. I just knew that if anyone has cancer, it's death.
Catherine was prompted to seek treatment when she consulted a relative following discomfort she was experiencing. It did not take too long for Catherine to be diagnosed with cancer.
Advised me to go and see Dr. Lukwasa at UTH. She's an ENT specialist. I went to see Dr. Lukwasa. She did a thoroughly checkup. And then I remember she said, you know, Catherine, I have checked everything. I can see something. When she see through my nose, she says, I can see a tumor. But I'm not telling you that it could be cancerous, but what I would suggest, let's do a CT scan. X-ray first. I did X-rays. After X-rays, and then she prescribed the CT scan. After she did the CT scan, she says, no, it's really big. I think to be on the safe side, why don't you do a biopsy? She prescribed a biopsy. I went to Kanza because she told me UTH will take quite long and your tumor is really big. That's how come you have been running out of breath. So after I went to do a biopsy, immediately she looked at it. She says, Catherine, this is cancerous and you have to start treatment as soon as possible. There and then she referred me to Cancer Hospital.
The treatment she underwent was another nightmare. She is happy it is over now.
When you start your treatment, all I would advise new cancer patients is that it's a process. It's not easy, but you need to be strong. You need to be very, very strong to really get through it. Don't give up. It's not easy, but what to do? The medication, you know, cancer is, you might think that tumor is the one that's killing you. The medication is the one that drops you, that makes you go down, because it kills everything, the white and red blood cells in your body. So as a result, you are prone to infections and everything. So really it doesn't stop. The only, I think, secret is just to keep away in public, always stay home, eat healthy food, follow medication and everything, and then you get through it. And have it checked. Every time you're given an appointment for review, never ever miss it. Because when sometimes it could be in remission, it might come back.
What does it mean when you say it's in remission?
It's like sleeping. You know, it's not for everybody. You know, with others it could be 95% clear. Maybe it won't come back. But still, you still have to have it checked.
For you, what
mine was not removed. It just shrunk. They just had it shrunk, and it's still, it's still shrunk. But it's just like any other disease. You know, you might. People might say, me, I can't have cancer. But in the meantime, you discover you have it. And you feel it's the end of the world. It's not. You can still live on a healthy life. You can still continue your normal life after cancer. You know, I think that's a secret, just to keep healthy after that. And for a family, what I would say is, when there's somebody who's got cancer in a family, never stigmatize them. Always, comfort them, always be there for them, always support, love them, give them the care that you can. That is the secret, really. And a lot of prayer. God is for us all. He never sleeps. Look at me today. It's almost 2 years now. I'm clean. you know.
Her sickness was not only too much for her. One of her two sons had difficulties to come to terms with what had struck her.
Excuse me, I don't have saliva, so I have to keep on taking water. Excuse me about that. As time went on, I also learned to explain to them that this is what cancer is all about. It doesn't mean it's death. This is what I'm going to go through. I might go down certain times, I'll be okay, just like that. And, really, the eldest son didn't take it very well. He
What
didn't.
was his reaction?
He became very rebellious. He didn't want to be home. He was, just doing things out of anger. Then my sister thought, and she decided, says, you know what, let me take him. You stay here. I was with my younger son, and my sisters live nearby, close by, so they used to come and check on me. So, as time went on, he learned to accept, with him, as I was going through the treatment, he couldn't take it at all.
Cancer is a generic term for a large group of diseases that can affect any part of the body. One defining feature of cancer is the rapid creation of abnormal cells that grow beyond their usual boundaries and which can invade adjoining parts of the body and spread to other organs.
Cancer is a heterogeneous disease, meaning that cancer occurs at different sites of the body. It is not one type. There are many types of cancers, and depending on where it sits, it will be called either breast cancer or cervical cancer or brain cancer, or anal cancer, penile cancer. Where if it's in the skin, it will be called skin cancer. Now, there are certain general causes that we know as risk factors that are driving cancer in Zambia. First of all, it is the age. Increasing age in the population would predispose the elderly in that population to developing cancer. That's number one. Two, there could be some genetic factors that are playing a role, in the sense that you have familial predisposition to cancer in certain families. And then you have what we call the modifiable risk factors. These are the things that communities do, putting themselves at risk of developing cancer. Now, one of them is sedentary lifestyles, where populations are not doing a lot of exercises. A lot of us now have bought cars, and we are not exercising a lot, so we tend to become a little bit obese, and we increase the amount of fat in our bodies, and all this predisposes us to developing different types of cancers in our bodies.
Statistics indicate cancer continues to be on the increase globally.
GlobalCan and IARC indicate that cancer is increasing in the world, and from about 2008 we had about almost 8 million new cancer cases being reported worldwide. But it is projected that by the year 2020, 2030, somewhere there, the number of new cancer cases is expected to increase to about 15 or so million new cases in the world. And 80% of this number is going to be in the low and middle income countries. And Zambia is a low middle income country, so we are going to have a good share of the new cancer cases that are being projected. And actually, this is what we are seeing right now in the number of cancer cases that are increasing in our country. So we need to prepare as a country for this projected increase in the number of cancer cases. And some of the preparation, of course, is what the cancer hospital is doing, but for us to be ready for an increased number of cancer cases, or to ensure that cancer cases don't go out of proportion in Zambia, we need to have nationwide prevention programs, and we need to have nationwide screening programs for cancer, and we need to ensure that hospitals in Zambia are able to do early diagnosis for cancer, so that there is an effective referral system to the hospital, so that the cases are treated.
In Zambia, the country's sole cancer diseases hospital is this month focusing on creating awareness around breast cancer.
A lot of activities that will start on the 20th up to 24th of October at the National Heroes Stadium. The activities include breast screening, cervical screening, and prostate screening. So in terms of breast screening, we encourage all women to come to the stadium so that they can be taught how to check themselves. And this is what we call self-breast examination. And then we are going to do also cervical screening in all women. For prostate, we encourage the male folk to turn up in numbers so that we can also screen them. And we encourage men who are 45 or 50 and above to come for prostate screening. In Zambia, in the women, it's cervical cancer is the number one, followed by breast cancer. And all these are preventable type of cancers. We can prevent them if we catch them early. And in men, number one is prostate. Yes. The picture is very encouraging. Initially, when we just started, we had few people turning up, but we have disseminated the information, and a lot of people now are turning up for breast screening.
Women are being urged to come forward for breast cancer screening, as early detection is key in the eventual treatment of the disease.
We have a lump, so what I would like to say is that a woman should know what is normal for her. Every woman knows how her breasts look. So when there's a lump in a breast, obviously it's a matter of concern, it's one of the symptoms. The other one could be a change in the color of the breast. The woman knows how her well-being is, then there's a change in the color of the breast. That's also a matter of concern. We also have what we call dimpling of the retraction of the nipple. The nipple starts forcing itself inside. Yes, so that's also one of the symptoms. Then the other one is, you know, the way an orange looks. An orange, the oranges that we eat. It's got those dimpling when you look at the cover of an orange. So sometimes when there's breast cancer, the breast looks like an orange. You know, there's that dimpling around the breast. This is one of also the symptoms of breast cancer.
The period for cancer treatment is in most cases long and with pronounced side effects. Due to the long absence from the office, Catherine lost her job.
I was very hurt. I was very hurt. And then, you know, after I finished my treatment, I went there. I said, I've finished my treatment. I wasn't even properly healed. I asked my boss, I said, when can I start work? They explained that they're terminating my contract because, well, I used to work on contract. And that time it hadn't yet expired. It was going to expire this year.
She is, however, grateful to staff at the Cancer Diseases Hospital who worked tirelessly to save her life.
It's excellent. Well, I have got nothing bad to say. They treated me so well. The doctors were there for me. Treatment, well, sometimes you see like the machines would break down, radiotherapy. It doesn't mean when the machine stops working, you stop going there. They'll make sure they have it fixed, and you continue going for your treatment. It's right now the number has doubled. I believe machines are not enough. Too many people. And I believe they've gone as far as 21 hours, because when you are given a date, there's no way you can go back home saying no, they've closed. You have to. So whatever time, up to the last patient, they'll attend to the last patient, make sure they treat that patient. They're excellent. They'll give you all the medication. They've been with me. They've been, wow, wonderful. My doctors, I haven't had much. I haven't complained, really. Though sometimes it takes time, but that's how it is. What do? It takes time. You have to wait. You have to be patient.
Catherine is now eager and geared to start a new life, find a job, and live to share a successful battle against cancer.
My next step in my life, I'm still trying to look for a job. Well, the person who terminated my contract is no longer there. I've been going there. They have up from since February. Nothing's been done. So the people that are there saying no, just wait, we'll take you back. And no, I've been waiting, but I'm not depending on that. I still look for jobs elsewhere. I do a bit of landscaping when I was a child. I bake a lot. That's how I survive.
The South African chain store Shoprite has been cited for violation of the Competition and Consumer Protection Act. This follows poor product source labeling on some fresh produce sold in the outlet. According to the law, product labeling should include, among other information, the name of the manufacturer and their contact details.
These fresh farm produce were bought from South Africa's leading chain store, Shoprite Mandahill Outlet. To many unsuspecting consumers, the products are as innocent as any in this leading outlet. However, a consumer with an inquisitive eye will be left with more questions than answers. A patriot will be happy to learn and maybe on that score buy the product, as the label is indicating that it is a Zambian product. A closer look, or if one peels off the Zambian sticker, information emerges indicating that the product is South African. With this state of affairs, it remains to the consumer to make their own conclusions. But what does the law on consumer protection say on this kind of behavior?
It has been presented really as a commission. We are the only thing that we can say is that it's very, very unfortunate, especially that business entities know very well. I'm very confident, with the institution that is, the business entity that is in question, that they do understand what the law provides with regards to misleading conduct of a business entity, and of course the legal implications that follow. When you look at the Competition and Consumer Protection Act number 24 of 2010, it's very, very clear under section 47 that a business entity or a trader shall not engage in any kind of behavior that is aimed at misleading consumers, because by virtue of one concealing or hiding where the product is coming from, basically they are trying to mislead consumers, which is not supposed to be the case. And when you look at also section 50, it's very, very clear on the product labeling. The product that has to be sold on the Zambian market is supposed to be clearly labeled. And when the product is labeled, it is labeled for a reason. The reason is that consumers should be able to read and understand. Once they read and understand, they will be able to make decisions from an informed point of view. By the way, those labels that are on the products are not for decorations. They are meant to communicate.
The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission adds that the law will be enforced to the letter to ensure consumers are not being cheated.
And now when a product has information which is communicating something different from what it is, that is unfair trading. And as a commissioner, I'm not going to relent to punish such kind of offenders. As a matter of fact, the law is very clear. It actually stipulates that each and every business entity that is engaging in such kind of unfair trading, the commission has powers to fine that particular entity or that particular trader a percentage or a fine of not more than 10% of that particular business annual turnover.
Nonetheless, Shoprite has a defense for this lapse. Company representative Charles Botta, in a telephone interview, said this.
All the fresh produce that you see there is bought in locally, a fresh market. local farmers. I'll give you some numbers that that you can check with the local farmers who actually buy them locally. Now, the packaging is a different story because we buy packaging as per the group normally. You know, you make a packaging with the company, okay? Now, because of the size of the company, you get discounts on packaging. So you normally buy for a period of time. In other words, you have a packaging contract for 6 months or a year, all right? So that the packaging used. Now, what we are doing now is that we are changing that packaging to bring produce of Zambia and to be actually printed locally by Horizon Zambia, okay?
Okay.
Because of the deals which you already have with the packaging company, because the packaging company presents the packaging for 17 countries where ShopRite is, okay? Now, that deal can't stop now. So, in that remaining 3 to 6 months, they will still send us the packaging, but we're not.
Whatever the case, a clampdown on ShopRite is looming, as the Commission says no compromise to the law will be entertained.
Now up to us as a Commission to ensure that this issue is followed up before close of business today, so that we see if this product still exists, and we ensure that we do that before this clip is aired.
Lack of consumer awareness on their rights is the biggest challenge the Commission has to deal with. However, recent statistics indicate a rise in cases of consumer violations being reported to the Commission.
The overall picture of consumer complaints in Zambia generally, it's something which is very, very impressive, Mr. Piri. When you look at the way consumers are coming to complain, especially when you look at it from the point of view of the Commission. This is because, let's say for example, in 2012, the Commission only managed to handle 55 cases of consumer rights violations. But a year later, in 2013, we saw this number rising from 55 cases to over 250 cases. Then the following year, which is last year, we saw the Commission being able to successfully investigate and resolve over 480 cases. Now, for us, these figures, they speak a lot. Actually, it gives us confidence because we are able to know that consumers are able to respond to our appeal messages. We are also able to understand as a Commission that when consumers are coming to complain to the Commission, basically it gives us confidence that, wow, they do appreciate our service. So when you look at the overall scenario of consumer protection, violations, and protection in general, we are at a point where we are saying consumers are slowly getting to know their rights and they are coming to report. And also with some of the strategies that the Commission has engaged in to ensure that it establishes its physical presence amongst consumers, I think that is also one of the reasons that has helped. Because in 2011 we only had one office in Kitwe and the main office of course here. In 2013 we opened another one in Chipata. This year we've opened one in Kasama, one in Mong, one in Solwezi. And with the coming of these new offices, we've seen that cases are actually coming from each and every angle of the country. And apart from that, we have also introduced a toll-free line number where consumers can get us.
Well, that's it that we had for you on the program today. Do join us next week on Sunday for yet another exciting edition of The Scoop. On behalf of my producer, Kennedy Piri, this has been Alfred Chulite. Thank you so very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of our programming.